All right, so here's the deal. If you tow a fifth wheel or you're thinking about towing a fifth wheel, you probably already know part of the struggle with huge freaking clunky hitches, rough rides. Let me tell you what, it's not the smoothest thing in the world, and just losing the bed space in your truck when you are not towing. So here's the deal. We are testing out a brand new, most RVers don't know about this, well, because it's brand new, pin box that we are going to test out, change up the way we are towing, completely changing the way that our truck and our fifth wheel work together. And we're gonna give you all of the details in this video. So here's the beautiful thing, you guys, is that when we first knew we were getting a fifth wheel, we wanted to go with the gooseneck setup, and that didn't work out for a number of reasons, which we won't repeat here because we have a whole video about kind of what and how that all happened. You can check that out up here. But needless to say, we are excited because
we get our truck bed back. So that's one of the biggest reasons for one of these gooseneck hitches. Talk about lock in, y'all.
So not only do we get our truck bed back, right? So like if we're not towing, we could just flip over the ball and we have a truck that's actually a truck again. There's less weight in the truck when we're not towing. So we're not losing potential fuel economy when we're driving this thing, you know, around town or whatever, because we're carrying an extra 200 pounds that we don't need to be carrying. And then the other thing is too, is that even when we are towing, we have way more bed space now, which means we can bring more stuff.
Yeah,
sort
literally.
Of. Kidding, but not really.
You turn over the ball in this thing, and your bed it's like there's nothing in there. So.
But even when we're towing, we'll still have more bed space.
Yes.
In the truck, even with this thing on it, because of just how that all of this works together. Now, this is the new gooseneck from Moride, and this is pretty special because
yeah, the biggest thing is, I mean, they've got a really good reputation. I've never done a whole lot of fifth wheel towing in the past, but from what I've gathered from the community, Moride really is known for the rubber in their pin boxes and lack of maintenance. No airbags to air up, right? Traditionally, Moride's never really had a gooseneck hitch before. So what I've heard is that these particular Moride hitches actually have a better ride. So when you're towing the fifth wheel, you're not going to get as much of the chucking because this is going to compensate for a lot of that. So I'm excited to give it a try and see how the ride is compared to the traditional pin box.
And we're going to take you with us because we're about to hook this thing up and show you some of the cool things about this when it comes to just the hookup process too. But I think one of the cool things about hookup with this kind of setup is you don't have like the whole dreaded tug test. Like you've probably seen, if you've watched RV content for any length of time, you have seen where people go to do the tug test, which you have to do, right? You have to make sure that it's connected and it's not connected. And then they drop their whole RV on the bed of their truck and then crush the bed of their truck and damage the bed of their truck because of that. So no tug test on this.
I've never really liked the tug test anyways, because you're really like jarring on the truck and pulling on things to make sure it doesn't.
Well, and you're like, biting your nails and your heart rate's climbing. And yeah, exactly. So you don't have to worry about that when you go to hook this up.
But you do have to do a test. You know what that's called? We're going to call it the lift test.
The lift test?
Yeah, so what you do is basically, from what I've gathered, and we'll test it out, is just do a lift and make sure it stays attached. Make sure your wheels of your truck are off the ground. No,
Shut up.
I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it.
I was joking on that part, but you do want to lift it up, make sure it's attached. This one here has, the release is actually on the bottom, so that it comes with a little pole, so you don't even have to get in the bed of the truck or anything. You just release it and latch it. When you go to
disconnect it.
Yeah, when you go to disconnect it, release it right from the back of your truck. That's cool. I haven't had to go through the pain of all the stuff you guys have probably had to do because I'm newer to this technology, but I'm loving the way this is set up. So
all right, enough talking. Let's get it hooked up and let's take it out and test her out.
Okay, so before we take this out and test it out to see how smooth it rides, I wanted to talk briefly about the install process. So really, I was a little bit intimidated and worried that I wouldn't be able to do this, but as with any RVer, you really just need to become handy and force yourself to just move forward even and face the fear. So that's what I did. To start with, it really helps to have the right parts. So when it comes to getting the proper fit, for example, this is a 1621 pin box by Lippert. I'm able to go on eTrailer, let them know the model RV that we have, the year. They're able to help me find the pin box number that I needed and the right actual hitch that I would need. So you really need to check out eTrailer because they have this particular hitch and you can get it through them. And I'll put a link down below where you can get it. But they can help you with everything that you'll need to get this installed and do it yourself. So the way basically I installed it by myself, for the most part, really it could take 2 or 3 guys to actually install this hitch. But I was able to do it for the most part by myself, and Trinity, which I'll tell you about here in a second, how she came in and saved the day. But I first needed to get the old hitch off of the RV. So I backed the truck up to the old pin box, connected it up, right? So when I unbolted the pin box, it would just drop, right? And it would just stay there. And then I could pull forward with the old pin box in. The old pin box was really light, so it didn't take much to get that out and pull that off, you know, myself, put it on the ground. It worked. You can see here and here is the hitch. Now I just pull it off of there, remove the B&W companion hitch, slap in the ball, pop on the gooseneck. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? Now, the biggest thing is I need to figure out how to, you know, get this gooseneck into the truck. And actually, I'm not going to put it on the ball. I'm just going to put it on the bed. I'm going to put some cardboard down just so it doesn't scratch the bed liner. I know this can probably take it, but I don't want to chance it. A little padding, extra padding won't hurt. And then I will see if Dakota or somebody can help me lift it up into there, and I'll use the same marks or the same bolt holes in theory. We'll see if that lines up and gives me the right clearance for the bed. Then the next part was really just getting the new one on. So that's where I employed Trinity's help to come out and help me get this bad boy up onto the pickup box.
Let's get as close as possible to the truck. Just lift it right onto the bed, and then, dang, I can't believe my girl is helping me with this. That has been weightlifting. It's amazing.
Good.
1, 2, 3, go. Dude!
It's not that heavy. It's like, you were like,
I was, oh my gosh, it's so heavy! Ah! I know with Dakota, he'd be like, oh, I can't get it! I can't lift it, I can't do it. Thank you. You're the best. Love you.
good thing I get paid. Kidding.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's what your salary's going for.
So Trinity comes into the house and she's like, Mom, Dad was like, are you sure you got it? Like, it's heavy. Like, make sure. Are you sure? You sure? And she's like, Mom, we just lifted it right up. It was just so light. You have to remember, this is the girl that deadlifts 225 pounds and clean and jerks 110. So I guess there is that. We know who the strong one in the family is. Not me. Not me.
She did it like a champ. And not Dakota either. No, sorry Dakota, but your sister definitely showed you up on this one, man.
I didn't think that was gonna be done.
All right, now I need to back it up to the RV close enough. Once I had it up there, I knew I could do it myself because I had a jack. So I can maneuver it around, get it situated, then jack it up with this Badlands jack I got from Harbor Freight that has the kind of extension on it, so I didn't have to use a bunch of blocks. Then I was able to get it lifted up in place, put in the bolts. Now in this particular install on the gooseneck, I did have to go one lower. I made one slight mistake when putting this up. Since this is a gooseneck, in order to get that, space in between your bed and the RV, I actually need to bring it down one notch just to give me that space. So a regular pin box might be, you know, you could use the same holes. Since this is a gooseneck, it seems like the goosenecks, you need to drop it down one from what I've gathered. So I'm gonna do that right now. From that point, got it connected up. I had an impact wrench that helped me get the bowls off and on. And then from that point, I torqued it down to the specified spec on the sheet. I think it was like 125 foot-pounds or whatever. Okay, good. Once I tightened it down, then I was able to put on the safety chains that I got from E-Trailer. And I believe Moride does have them also. And then put on this new breakaway that I got from Amazon because the old one just wasn't long enough. So I just need to line it up right over top of it.
Okay, stop, slow down. Passenger side.
Is this right?
It needs to go this way.
Right? No?
Yeah. Keep going. Okay, stop. We're too far off. You're gonna have to go probably straighten out, but then we need to come more to the passenger side. Keep coming. Okay, slow down. Whoa. Okay, a smidge back. A smidge. Stop. Oh, you're too far. Go forward.
Hold on. Wait, let me let off the brake. Am I good?
You're too far back. You need to go forward like a half inch. There. I think. Oh, dang it.
Yeah, because when I do the brake, it does that. That's why I'm like, you need to be,
Yeah.
oh, that's good enough. Okay,
Okay,
so
and then hold on,
apparently you can get a camera to hook up to your auxiliary backup camera system so you can see from the side.
Why
So
didn't we do that?
I'm going to do that, so. Anyways, what were
You
gonna
said to remind you to grease the ball.
say? Oh, now you remind me as right.
Okay, so you get in there with some grease.
All right, yeah, let me get in there with some grease now.
So far, this test run has been great. Definitely can feel like more of a smoother ride than we felt with like our other like quote unquote traditional fifth wheel setup or whatever. You know, one thing like Ben and I are just kind of talking as we're, you know, driving, testing it out and things like that, is it feels kind of like a little scary, right? You're thinking about, oh my gosh, I've got all of this weight resting on just a ball, right? I mean, it's not like it's a small ball, it's a big ball. As I was researching to kind of just prepare for this video, prepare for this install and everything else, one thing that I was reading is that actually like gooseneck style towing, it's been around for a really long time, especially like in the agricultural industry. So if maybe you grew up in more of like an agricultural area and you've seen like farmers hauling hay trailers and things like that, most of them are using like some sort of gooseneck setup. It's not like it's a new way of towing, but it's just a little bit newer to the RV industry as far as what was traditionally available and traditionally on the market before. So that does actually just make me feel a little bit better as far as the safety aspect goes, that this isn't like some sort of new technology and we're gonna, you know, test it out and see what happens. But it's a tried and true technology. It's just now, you know, coming more and more available and more popular for RVers. And there's so many pros. So we're gonna keep driving down the road a little bit, testing it out, and oh yeah, because
What do you think of the ride, by the way? I'm not feeling the chucking.
it's definitely feels smoother. Now here's the deal. You can tell there's an RV back there, right? I mean, like you can just feel like the truck is pulling the RV, which just changes the way that the truck rides. Before, especially, like you would feel every little, you know, bump where it's
handling a lot of that shaking and vibrations and chucking, and I mean, it's a lot smoother.
It definitely is a lot smoother. So pretty excited about this setup. Now we are headed to a spot And you need to subscribe because we actually have another video coming very, very soon regarding where we're going right now. But when we get there, we're gonna do just kind of some more like turn tests and kind of just really check out what is the turning radius and all of that once we get there. So. All right, now that you've had a chance to see this bad boy in operation, you know how awesome it is. But that's just one of the things that we love about Moride is that not only are all of their parts and components made here in the USA with USA sourced materials, but the other thing that I thought was really interesting is, I thought the name Moride was, I don't know, because it's more for your ride or something. No, the owners of the company, their last name is Moore. And so they've actually been around, you guys. Moride has been around since the 60s. So the 60s is when RVs kind of start to become like a thing. So the industry is booming, right? And so the guys that started Moride, they kind of wanted to get in on the action. And so they started developing the suspension systems for the trailers the RVs were built on. And so they've been at this whole RV game, you guys, for a very, very long time. And then started breaking into some of the other components like the hitches and things like that for RVs. So they've been in the game very long time, very, very knowledgeable. We are just loving the technology in this particular gooseneck setup. And you saw for yourself how amazing that it really is. Now, one thing that I do think is kind of interesting when you think about gooseneck towing versus traditional fifth wheel towing, there's a difference in the weight, not overall, but as far as like the weight that's on the actual trailer versus the weight that's in the bed of the truck. Speaking of which, there's something really important that you need to know when it does come to weight. We will have a whole video for you on that next week where we're gonna actually take the truck and trailer and get it weighed, see what's going on with that, but also some really interesting, kind of almost scary things that I've been learning about RV weight that you really, really need to know. That will be next week, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button right up here so that you can catch that video next week. And in the meantime, if you would like to see some more mods and upgrades that we've done on this particular rig, you could check that out right up here.